You open the app. You scroll. You stop on a face you don't know in a room you've never seen, talking about a life you don't live. And somehow, without meaning to, you stay. You watch the whole thing. You don't know why. But the real answer is far stranger than algorithms or luck. It has almost nothing to do with cameras or lighting or editing software. It has everything to do with something your brain was doing long before screens existed, long before money existed, long before anyone had ever heard the word creator. Your brain was built to track status, not fame, not fortune, status. The invisible ranking system every human group has used since before recorded history to decide who gets listened to, who gets copied, and who gets fed first when food runs short. Here's the strange part. Most people assume the YouTubers who make it simply worked harder, or got discovered, or hit some algorithmic jackpot. And sure, effort matters. But anthropologist Joseph Henrich spent years studying something called prestige-biased transmission, the tendency of humans across every culture ever studied to instinctively copy the behavior of whoever the group has already decided is worth paying attention to. You don't choose who to admire logically. You feel it automatically before you've even processed what they're saying. Why would evolution build that into you? Because for most of human history, paying close attention to the most skilled hunter, the most respected elder, or the most successful forager wasn't optional. It was survival. If someone in your tribe consistently found food, avoided danger, or solved problems others couldn't, copying them closely, obsessively, kept you alive. Ignoring them could get you killed. That circuitry never left you. It just changed targets. Now the successful hunter is a stranger on a screen with 4 million subscribers, and your ancient brain still says, watch closely. This person clearly knows something you don't. This is where most people trying to make it on YouTube go wrong from day one. They think the platform rewards good content. It doesn't, not directly. The platform rewards whatever triggers that ancient prestige tracking system fastest. Confidence, certainty, a face that looks like it already knows the outcome before it happens. Watch the first 3 seconds of almost any video that exploded past 1 million views. The creator isn't hesitant. They're not hedging. Their voice, their posture, their eyes, everything says I already know something valuable, and you don't yet. Your brain locks on before your conscious mind even decides to click. That's not manipulation, at least not consciously. Most successful creators aren't running evolutionary psychology experiments. They're just naturally broadcasting the signals your ancestors were trained over hundreds of thousands of years to trust. But prestige is only half of it. The other half is even older and even harder to fight. Neuroscientist Wolfram Schultz, working with primates in the 1990s, discovered something that quietly rewired how scientists understood reward. Dopamine, the chemical everyone associates with pleasure, doesn't actually spike most when you get something good. It spikes hardest during the anticipation of something uncertain, not certainty. Uncertainty. Schultz found that when a reward became fully predictable, the dopamine response for it actually dropped. Your brain isn't chasing the reward itself, it's chasing the not knowing right before it. Now think about the platform again. A notification, a thumbnail with a face mid-shock, a title that promises something without revealing it. None of that is an accident, and none of it needs to be cynical to work. It's simply built, intentionally or not, on top of the exact uncertainty loop your brain has been chasing since long before agriculture existed. The creators who understand this, even instinctively, aren't tricking you. They're speaking a language your nervous system already knows fluently. So why do most people who try this fail? Because they're optimizing for the wrong ancient system entirely. Most beginners chase perfection, better cameras, better lighting, scripted, polished, careful, but perfection reads as low uncertainty. Low uncertainty means low dopamine. Low dopamine means no pull. Meanwhile, someone with a laptop camera and a genuinely uncertain high-stakes story, will this work? Did I lose everything? What happened next? Is unconsciously speaking directly to the oldest reward system in your skull. There's a second reason most people fail, and it's just as old. Psychologist Leon Festinger in 1954 proposed what he called social comparison theory. Humans, he argued, don't evaluate their own worth in isolation. They evaluate it relative to the people around them. For nearly all of human history, the people around them meant a tribe of maybe 150 people, a number popularized decades later by anthropologist Robin Dunbar as the rough upper limit of stable relationships a human brain can meaningfully track. You were built to compare yourself to about 150 people. You now compare yourself to millions. Every creator who makes it is being measured by your brain using social math that evolved for a village, not a planet. When someone racks up 10 million views, your ancient comparison circuitry doesn't calmly note statistical outlier. It registers something closer to this person has 10 million people's worth of prestige and I have none. And that gap becomes personal even when it isn't. That gap is exactly what drives most beginners to quit, not because they lack talent, but because their nervous system is comparing local village math against planetary numbers it was never designed to process. Here's the twist almost nobody talks about. The creators who actually succeed long term aren't the ones who win the prestige game the fastest. They're the ones who stop needing the whole world's attention and instead build something closer to that ancient number: a loyal core, a tribe. Not a crowd chasing novelty, but a group that returns again and again, the same way your ancestors returned to the same trusted hunter, the same reliable storyteller, the same person who consistently delivered. Consistency, it turns out, is the modern version of trust building your ancestors would recognize instantly. Prestige built once, through a lucky viral moment, fades fast. Prestige built through repeated, reliable value, the same voice, the same face, showing up again and again, is what your brain actually files under leader worth following, not stranger worth a glance. So the real reason some YouTubers get rich and most don't was never really about cameras, luck, or algorithms at all. It's about who understands, even without realizing it, that they're not really competing for views. They're competing for a slot in your brain that's existed since long before video existed. A slot originally reserved for the best hunter in the group, the most trusted storyteller by the fire, the person your ancestors' survival once depended on watching closely. Tonight, you'll probably open the app again. You'll scroll. You'll stop on a face you don't know. And your brain, the same brain your ancestors used to decide who was worth following across a savanna 100,000 years ago, will make the exact same ancient decision it always has. Watch this one closely. This person clearly knows something you don't.